Are you looking for gear that can keep up with your active and adventurous dog? Look no further than Synology Warehouse. They specialize in equipping the modern canine with distinguished, overbuilt gear that's built to last from home to horizon. From premium collars and leashes to rugged outdoor gear, they have everything you need to keep your dog comfortable and safe no matter where your adventures take you. I've been using their Biothane slip leashes for months now and I love them. They have a nice feel, a good grip, and they clean very easily. Use coupon code Vermont to receive 10% off your purchase. Head over to Synology Warehouse on Etsy today and give your dog the gear they deserve. Synology Warehouse, overbuilt gear that's built to last from home to horizon.
Time again for Talking Dogs with Ian Grant, owner of Vermont Dog Boarding and Behavior, VFW Drive Hyde Park. It's the show that delves into the training, socializing, behavior, nutrition, and wellness of your dog. And brought to you by Guy's Farm and Yard with locations in Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans. And we're back with the trainer Ian Grant, and this week we are making training a fun activity. I mean, you do spend a lot of time with your dog and training them as well. After a good dog owner, you're working with them.
Yeah.
But to do it and make it fun for both of you is kind of important. You don't want it so rigid and, like it's a classroom or something.
I remember my first dog that I ever adopted. I think I was probably 20, 21 years old. And, they're like, you got to work with your dog. You got to train it. And I just remember being out in our yard going, oh, my gosh, this is boring. It was just, I knew nothing about dogs other than just growing up with them. And the more I got into this and understood the whole process, this is, honestly, if anybody ever comes to me and wants me to teach their dog any obedience of any sort, this is what I do. I got to put it into play. I mean, I want the dog to be happy with this. The other really bonus part of teaching your dog or training your dog during play is that you start to be able to communicate with your dog when they're really, really excited. Most of the time, people are able to communicate with their dog when they're calm or pretty relaxed. But when the blood is flowing, the adrenaline's pumping, a lot of times dogs don't hear us. And the more practice that we can get in while we're playing and then the dog hearing us, then we can start to make some serious strides as far as our communication back and forth.
Yeah, not to mention your relationship with your dog, too. I mean, because that's so important. I mean, you want to have a good relationship. I know we talked about this a few weeks ago about relationships and how they should go together with training. So, but it's important. I mean, you've got the dog. I mean, that's why you have the dog.
Yeah, I was talking with a client the other day, and she said, I'm really trying to be a good leader to my dog. And I said, that's all well and good. That's fine. But sometimes you want to be a friend and a teammate and a coach, and you want to play all those roles. And so when we start to train when we're playing, you can easily teach your dog how to, teach it a drop it command and then a sit command, and you can back up. If you're playing fetch, you can toss something and tell them to go get it. You can work on these sits and stays and all that kind of stuff. So the important part is, in actuality, if you do 20 minutes of play training, basically, it's really going to be the majority of the time playing, and then you're just going to throw little tidbits of training in there of just a sit, stay, wait, and then go get it and go and have all sorts of fun with it. I've told some of my clients, I said, I make a complete fool of myself when I play fetch with my dogs because I want them to see that I'm in it. I'm right there with them. At that time, I'm the teammate, teammate and coach. And I want them to know, like, this is fun time. This is time for us to cut loose. This isn't like a walking structured time. This is recess, and it's also a fun game, too.
Yeah. Of course, Tika is not big on fetching, so she probably would not find that very much fun. But you have to think out of the box, and you have to originate some new ideas. I remember a while back we talked about these obstacle courses that we did. And that's a fun thing. Well, I would assume the dog thinks it's fun. And you're also training them at the same time. Yeah,
I had an English Shepherd in recently, and towards the end of the lesson, we set up a couple obstacles so I could teach the client how to kind of use the leash through these obstacles, teach the dog some confidence, and the dog got through 3 obstacles, and I'm like, okay, now we need to start adding in some praise and celebration and all that kind of stuff. Man, did that dog cut loose. It was like, wow, it's really go time right now. And so now the thing started flying through these obstacles, and it was all sorts of fun, and that's what you want. So if your dog doesn't play fetch or doesn't play tug, what is it that your dog loves to do the most? And you can revolve training around that. So we don't have to kind of like pigeonhole it to like it has to be fetch or tug. like you said, if you think outside the box and you know what your dog likes, that's the time to do it.
Yeah, and it's important for our owners to make the effort to do that too, because some owners, I'll work with them for a little while, then I get something else to do. Your dog's got to be your focus for at least a period of time each day.
Yeah, and one of the big mistakes I have I hear from my clients is they'll play fetch or something with their dog, and then they say 5 minutes later the dog's just not into it anymore. I'm like, well, are you?
Yeah.
Are you into this?
Yeah.
Are you just standing still? Are you just kind of being the cold shoulder over there?
Are you throwing and then running around and having them, because sometimes you just got to spice it up sometimes.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is the time to have fun and might as well teach the dog something to do during that time too. Put it together. It's a win-win for everybody.
Right, and it adds to your relationship with your dog. And isn't that important too? But there's nothing better than being in tune with your dog.
It's such a good feeling.
Man, but it's work like everything else.
Yep.
Back with our question from the doggy bag in just a moment here on Talking Dogs.
Roaming is a Los Angeles-based premium lifestyle brand that is motivated by nature. Roaming features high-quality, earth-friendly dog products made from renewable and natural materials like their bio-based and 100% compostable biodegradable dog poop bags. These bags really are awesome. I've been using their bags for a few months now, and I love the durability, the way they feel, and the fact that they are good for the earth. They also have a special discount for our listeners. Use code VermontDog to get 20% off your first purchase, including 20% off the first 3 orders if you sign up for one of their poop bag subscriptions. They also have some beautiful leather leashes made right here in the USA. You can check them out at roaming.com. That's ROMNG.com.
Back with Talking Dogs with Ian Grant from Vermont Dog Boarding and Behavior, VFW Drive Hyde Park. Want to find out more about his facility and his programs? Go to VermontDogBoardingAndBehavior.com, and you'll find our show, too, under the podcast link, too. Our question this morning, Ian, is how long should it take my dog to finish his meal? He gets 2 cups of food twice a day. So why is it important that we need to know how long that it takes them to eat?
Have you ever heard of the term wolf it down?
Yeah.
Some dogs wolf it down.
In seconds.
In seconds.
Yeah, and you wonder, boy, that can't be good for them, can it?
Well, and you think of their system, too, and how much stress. Sometimes I'll see a dog, when we used to do boarding, you see a dog and their sides are sucked in so much, and you see the ribs because they're just trying to inhale the food so quickly. And it usually is revolved around some sort of excitement to the dog. This is the Pavlov's dog, right? He rang the bell, dogs drooled, time to
right.
eat. And most situations, it's as soon as the dog sees us walking towards the food or they hear the food hit the dish.
They're just all out of control.
Yeah, and that's actually when the start of them eating fast is really happening in their brain.
So that's what you have to do is kind of slow the excitement down. Basically,
you're a quick learner.
But because we know about their digestive systems that we've talked about in the past, and so how do you slow them down when you get to mealtime?
To me, it would be working through that process of just taking my sweet time. I may just, if let's say Gemma ate really quickly, I may just take the food, pour it in the dish, and then go sit down for a little while.
And don't even put it down.
And don't even put it down for her.
Yeah,
wait for her brain to come back down out of the clouds, settle down a little bit.
Because she knows it's there.
Oh, yeah. That nose is going. There's no question. But I want her to learn over time. And this could be, for this being we just talked about New Year's stuff, resolutions last week. This could be one of those things that you want to work on because it's not a huge deal, but we want to slow the process down. So how long should this take? I don't know. I would hope at least 30 seconds to a minute, I would hope. If you're in the under 30 seconds range, this dog is hammering that dish and eating way too quickly.
Yeah. So maybe proclaiming, "Are you ready for your supper?" Maybe not doing that is one way to slow them down.
It's no different than saying, "Do you want to go for a walk?"
Yeah, exactly. You're enticing the excitement. So you have more control over the dog's excitement than you think.
Yeah. On the flip side, we're not expecting our dog to nibble at its food either. We're going to find a happy medium.
So it's got to gradual, not just woof it down, as you say. If you have a question for Ian, you can email him directly to info@VermontDogBoardingAndBehavior.com. Next week, we're talking rules and boundaries. What are we going into parenting?
Yeah, right. Been there.
Still been there, done that. So rules and boundaries, but how many times have we said it when we're training our dogs and working with our dogs? Sometimes it's like working with your kids.
It is, and I had a client in for a lesson recently, and I thought I'd kind of expand on that because it's a good example of rules and boundaries.
And it's coming up next week on Talking Dogs with Ian Grant, brought to you by Guy's Farm and Yard with locations in Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans. And for the trainer Ian Grant, I'm Roland DeJoy, and we are Talking Dogs.